Okay, class, so today we're going to talk about the election of 1860 and the Civil War.
The essential questions: how do wars create a change? By Pedro Sanchez
And Yoselin Lopez.
and Isaias Ruelas.
The election took place in 1860 on Tuesday in Chicago.
The election of 1860 was the last event before the Civil War broke out.
Due to the fact that Abraham Lincoln was a president of anti-slavery views, there were rumors about assassinations, which caused high levels of security during his train trip from Illinois to Washington.
The nominees of the election of 1860 were Abraham Lincoln, Stephen Douglas, John Bell, and John C. Breckinridge. They were all from different political parties. The United States was having a difficult time staying together. It was between the North and the South, who were trying to make their own government and fighting against slavery. Abraham Lincoln gave one of his speeches called "The House Divided." It states that I believe the government cannot endure permanently half slave and half free. I do not expect the Union to be dissolved. I do not expect the house to fall, but I do expect it will in case to be divided. It will come all one thing or all the other. A house divided against itself cannot stand.
And this quote, Abraham Lincoln is trying to say that the Union cannot be separated into two. That it cannot be a free slave or a slave state. It has to be either one of those two. He ensures that this house will fall apart if it continues to be how it is now. It cannot be fighting with each other. Here's a small video of the election of 1860.
And now about the Civil War. Since Abraham Lincoln was a man who followed the Constitution, many people believe the Civil War was to free the slaves. Not true. He just wanted to prove that the Constitution we have would stay.
After the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln gave one of his most famous speeches, Gettysburg Address. And in that speech, he stated that the Constitution, God, and the Founding Fathers were on his side. It was also to honor the living and dead who struggled during that time. This is one of his quotes from Gettysburg Address. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated far above our poor power to add or detract.
This quote is trying to state that he honors the dead that helped keep the Union as one. This map represents the states, the North and the South. This is the end of our presentation about the election of 1860 and the Civil War.
But we cannot forget about our essential question.
Our question is, how do wars create a change? Take a minute and read this to see if you could understand what this is trying to tell you. How does war create a change? Well, when people can't get together, that's when they try to take actions with their own hands, and that's when war begins, because they can't communicate as humans and take matter to their own hands and action.
In addition, it also causes people to lose trust in others, they fear of getting out of their houses without being hurt or killed by others.
As well, the government doesn't contribute with the problems within our society because
sometimes the government does the wrong decision of choosing sides between one country and another.
Most of the time, the government doesn't have the power, or they are too stressed and they don't know what's the best thing to do for our society.
Now it's quiz time, y'all.
Question 1. When was the election held?
The election was held on Tuesday, November 6, 1860. That's the answer. The next question is, who were the nominees for the election? Dun, 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 dun.
The nominees were Abraham Lincoln and John C., and as well Stephen Douglas.
The third question is, what did the people believe about the Civil War? People believe that the Civil War was because of Abraham Lincoln. He wanted to let the slaves be free, but he really wanted them to be united.
Question 4. What was the election served as? Answer. The election was served as the immediate impulse of the outbreak of American Civil War.
Question 5. When was the United States divided? The United States was divided during the 1850s.
That's the end of the presentation. Hope you enjoyed.